सुधार गर्ने कार्य यस क्षेत्रका जनप्रतिनिधिहरूका लागि पनि आवश्यकको विषय हो। यी विषयवस्तु अब विज्ञान र प्रविधिको क्षेत्रभित्र मात्र सीमित नभएर मुलुकको राजनीति, अर्थतन्त्र र क्षेत्रीय सहयोग र सहकार्यसँग जोडिएको पनि छ। जनताको स्वास्थ्य, जनजीविका, मुलुकको आर्थिक विकास, कृषि विकास, पर्यटन, पूर्वाधार निर्माण, ऊर्जाको उपयोग आदि सबै विषय जलवायु परिवर्तन, वायु प्रदूषण, जैविक विविधता संरक्षणसँग जोडिएका छन्। जलवायु परिवर्तनका जोखिमका सामना गर्नका लागि अपनाइएका अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रयासहरूमा राजनीतिक र कूटनीतिक अंशहरू बढी देखिन थालिसकेका छन्। त्यसैले जलवायु परिवर्तनका जोखिमहरूसँग जुझ्न अब हामीले कार्यपालिका, व्यवस्थापिका र न्यायपालिका लगायतका निकायहरू र आफ्नो मुलुकभित्र रहेका विभिन्न राजनैतिक र प्रशासनिक तहहरूका बीचको सहकार्यका साथै जलवायु सम्बन्धी कार्य गरेको गैर सरकारी संस्था, सञ्चारकर्मी तथा विद्वत वर्गहरूसँग सहयोग र समन्वय गर्ने सबैको संयुक्त प्रयासबाट अगाडि बढ्नुपर्ने आवश्यकता छ। जलवायु परिवर्तनका विविध पक्षका बारेमा ज्ञानको अभिवृद्धिका साथै जलवायु कूटनीतिको क्षेत्रमा पनि नीति निर्माता सांसदहरूले आफ्ना ज्ञान र सिपका दायरालाई अझ फराकिलो र परिष्कृत गर्दै लैजानु आजको आवश्यकता रहेको छ। नेपालको संसदीय फाँटबाट क्षेत्रीय तहमा सहकार्यका लागि क्लाइमेट पार्लियामेन्टको व्यवस्था गर्न नेपाल लगायत मित्र राष्ट्रहरू भारत, बङ्गलादेश, श्रीलङ्का तथा भुटानको सांसदहरूका बीच छलफल भइरहेको विषय पनि यहाँ जानकारी गराउन सान्दर्भिक ठानेको छु। हिन्दू कुश हिमालय अन्तर्गतका मुलुकहरूका नीति निर्माताहरूको यस पार्लियामेन्टेरियन मिटले यस्ता प्रयत्नलाई अझ थप मद्दत पुर्याउने अपेक्षा समेत मैले गरेकी छु। अन्त्यमा हाम्रो निमन्त्रणलाई स्वीकार गर्दै यस पार्लियामेन्टेरियनमा मिटमा सहभागी हुनुभएका सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरूलाई पुनः स्वागत गर्दै यो भेटघाट र छलफलले जलवायु कूटनीतिक, जैविक विविधता संरक्षण तथा वायु प्रदूषणको क्षेत्रमा हिन्दूकुश क्षेत्रका सांसदहरूको ज्ञान, क्षमता, अनुभवलाई नयाँ उचाइ थप्नेछ र एक आपसमा भाइचारा र सहकार्यको भावना विकास गर्नेछ भन्ने विश्वासका साथ यस कार्यक्रमको सफलताको लागि सङ्घीय संसद तथा संसदको कृषि, सहकारी तथा प्राकृतिक स्रोत समितिको तर्फबाट हार्दिक शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We will now proceed to the inauguration of the parliamentarians' meet with the symbolic act of watering the people plant, a gesture that reflects our shared commitment to nurturing nature for generations to come. May I respectfully invite to the stage the Right Honorable Mr. Ramchandra Paudyal, President of Nepal, to inaugurate the Hindu Kush Himalaya parliamentarians' meet. Thank you, the Right Honorable President. The story of the Hindu Kush Himalaya is a story of resilience, of people and nature standing strong against all odds. We will now present a short documentary on the Hindu Kush Himalaya region, showcasing the treasures and the trials of our mountain home, reminding us of what is at stake. I request the technical team to please play the video. The Hindu Kush Himalaya is home to some of the world's most majestic landscapes, ecosystems, and cultural heritage. The region supports the livelihoods of 240 million people living in the mountains, and further 1.65 billion people living downstream. This means that almost 1/4 of humanity benefits from the rivers emerging from the region and the resultant ecosystem services that give nourishment and life. It's not just where people live, it's what keeps them alive. But this lifeline is under threat. Glaciers are melting, rivers are drying, biodiversity is being lost, climate migration is rising. Climate change is fueling more frequent, more intense disasters, and it's the most vulnerable who are paying the highest price and bearing the heaviest burden. But the Hindu Kush Himalaya is not only a region in crisis, it is also where hope endures. Its forests, waters, and people hold generations of wisdom and strength. And through collective leadership and actions across borders, we can turn mounting risks into lasting resilience. Parliamentarians shape policies, drive priorities, and steer national development. You have the power to champion the environment, climate, and inclusive development. In your hands lies the strength to usher in regional collaboration that can protect the people and nature of the Hindu Kush Himalaya. The problems facing the Hindu Kush Himalaya do not respect borders. This parliamentarians meet isn't just an event. It's a moment of reckoning, to see clearly, to feel deeply, and to act boldly. Together, let this be the moment where our shared commitments and policies act as enablers to sustain nature and empower people across the region. Thank you. It is now my privilege to invite Dr. Pema Gamso, Director General of the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, for his remarks.
Right Honorable Ramchandra Praudul, President of Nepal, Right Honorable Devraj Gimari, Speaker, House of Representatives, Nepal, Her Excellency Dr. Arzu Rana Duba, Minister for External Affairs, Government of Nepal, His Excellency Mr. Ayn Bahadur Shahi Thakuri, Minister of Forest and Environment of Nepal, His Excellency Subradip Chakma, Advisor to the Government of Bangladesh on Chittagong Hill Tracts Affairs, Bangladesh, Honorable Kusum Devi Thappa, the Chairperson of Agriculture, Cooperatives and Natural Resources Committee, Federal Parliament of Nepal, Honorable Parliamentary Standing Committees, Chairs, Parliamentarians from Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan. Excellencies, the resident ambassadors in Nepal, as well as heads of UN and other international agencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Hindu Kush Himalayan First Parliamentarians Meet. Today, we have all gathered here for a historic meeting for the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. At the outset, I would like to thank the Federal Parliament of Nepal for hosting this first ever meeting, and to the government and people of Nepal for extending their warm hospitality to all our distinguished delegates. As you have already heard, Hindu Kush Himalaya is the water towers of Asia and is often referred to as the third pole because it contains the largest ice mass outside the polar region and is source of the 10 major rivers of Asia. As you saw in this video, the region supports the livelihoods of over 240 million people living in the mountains and a further 1.65 billion people living in downstream areas. This means, ladies and gentlemen, that almost 1/4 of humanity benefits from the Hindu Kush Himalaya. However, our region faces accelerated impacts from the triple planetary crisis: climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. As we all know, glaciers are melting faster than ever before. Together with other climatic events, we are facing a situation of either too much or too little water. Floods and droughts are often occurring at the same time in different parts of our region. Glacial lake outburst floods are increasing at an alarming rate, along with flash floods caused by extreme events like cloudburst. In terms of biodiversity, our an estimated 70 to 80% of the habitats are reported to be in degraded conditions, not only affecting the survival, not only threatening, I would say, the survival of iconic species like the Royal Bengal tiger and snow leopard, but also affecting the livelihood of people. Ladies and gentlemen, our region, particularly the Indo-Gangetic plains and Himalayan foothills, is one of the most polluted regions in the world, with PM 2.5 levels often exceeding 400 micrograms per cubic meter. This has serious impacts on our health, quality of life, environment, agriculture productivity, and economy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Hindu Kush Himalayas is becoming an epicenter of multi-hazards with increasing vulnerabilities from geological, hydrological, and climatic risk. Most of the challenges we face, disasters, air pollution, biodiversity loss, are transboundary in nature. And despite their global importance, mountain ecosystems remain underrepresented in national, regional, and international climate policies. Existing frameworks often overlook the unique challenges and contributions of mountain regions, leaving them inadequately addressed in global environmental governance. Increasing losses and damages from climate change-induced hazards and disasters have significantly increased the need for investment. The HKH countries need around USD 740 billion annually for both adaptation and mitigation. Evidence-based policies and legislations, innovative solutions, informed decisions, increased and targeted investment, and collaborative actions are essential for building resilience, prosperity, and sustainability in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. As parliamentarians, your role as people's elected representatives in enacting laws, influencing policies, reviewing development plans, and allocating resources, and advocating for mass participation has never been more important and crucial than it is now. Excellencies, I take this opportunity to appeal to you that when it comes to climate change, there should be no differences among our political parties within the countries. We should speak with one voice because it affects every one of us. We face the same challenges, we face the same issues, and there should be no differences across boundaries, across political borders. This historic parliamentary meet has therefore brought us all in the same room to discuss our shared challenges and, most importantly, to come up with shared solutions for the member countries of the Hindu Kush Himalaya. Even more importantly, honorable members of parliament can contribute to building trust and confidence among our peoples and governments and strengthen collaboration and cooperation to move towards a more harmonious, prosperous, and safer region. We may argue that this is a tall ask given the geopolitical challenges that we are facing. But what is the alternative to cooperation? The cost of non-cooperation is simply too high even to think about. ICIMOD, as your regional non-political knowledge organization, will continue to support the member countries by facilitating the sharing of knowledge, information, and innovation, and addressing the shared challenges of the region. We will continue to advocate for mountain issues at the national, regional, and international levels. Honorable President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this opportunity to strengthen collaboration among the countries of the Hindu Kush Himalaya to align our regional efforts with global climate goals. Together, we can build resilient ecosystems that support the well-being of our communities. We have the science, we have the data, we know enough to act. What we need is an effective regional mechanism for taking collaborative action. It's time for action in our own countries as well as jointly as a region before it is too late. This meet is a small step, but as they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a small step. It is a very significant first step. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pema. We are honored to have with us the heads of delegations from our participating countries. Each will now share their reflections and perspectives on the significance of this meet for our region. I invite the heads of delegations in alphabetical order of their countries to deliver their remarks. First and foremost, from Bangladesh, may I invite Honorable Supradeep Chakma, Advisor to the Ministry of Chittagong Hill Tracts Affairs, to kindly deliver his remarks.
Right Honorable Mr. Ramchandra Pradhan, President of Nepal, Honorable Chair, distinguished members, policymakers, excellencies, press and media people, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Assalamu alaikum, and namaskar to all. Indeed, a great pleasure for me to be here today to speak to you in this first gathering of policymakers. Rightly said, I was sharing to speech that it is the prime time to know our situation, what is going on here in terms of climate change, biodiversity, and its effect. Let me say you one thing. The other day, our Honorable Chief Advisor was telling us on the Environment Day, perhaps each and every individual, we are criminal to the environment. And we are criminalizing each and every one. That include our future generation. So let us take this advantage that we are meeting, that is the policymakers should be meeting today. And they will be deciding what you are saying, 1/4 of the global population, but let me say you that, I want to say it is not 1/4. Directly and indirectly, about half of the global population are living in this area called Hindu Kush. Directly or indirectly, we are affecting each other. So let's see that, how it goes, but what the Honorable Agriculture Minister of Nepal has said, I believe that as Bangladeshi and the head of Bangladesh delegation, we support the proposal that we need a platform. It is a kind of sub-regional cooperation group, and we need to, as the DG said, make it strong, make a voice so that we can rescue our area or global environment or diversity. Let me say also that we are seeing the effect very recently even. Just last week we saw devastating effect in Pakistan. I have to say that condolences to Pakistani delegation on this day because it is unbelievable. And we are seeing similar things even in India also. They suffered a similar situation, even in Bangladesh. See that my area once was full of forestry, and nowadays what happened? We can see that hardly. Once by the Chittagong Hill Tracts, where I am from, used to generate about 40% of total oxygen of my country, and used to supply about 40% of fresh water for the regional economy in Chittagong area, where our 40% economy is generated in Bangladesh. Although it is situated on the bank of Bay of Bengal, but they never use the water from the sea. So they use the Chittagong Hill Tracts water to run the industry and generate the economy. So this is what I will say, that it is definitely a positive step for all of us. Let's be together and try to see that we can bring a change for the area, for our whole Hindu Kush Himalayan community and rest of the world. With these remarks, I will say that thank you very much for hearing me. If there is any other intervention, I will say some other things in the meeting. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Honorable Sir. From Bhutan, may I now call upon Honorable Phunso Rapten, member of the Good Governance Committee and Public Accounts Committee, to share his reflections.
Respected Right Honorable President of Nepal, Right Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Minister, Minister of Forest and Environment, Honorable Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Chairperson, Agriculture, Cooperative and Natural Resources Committee, Federal Parliament of Nepal, Honorable Dr. Pema Jamso, Director General, Isimot, Honorable Member of Parliament and distinguished delegates from Hindu Kush Himalayan region, ladies and gentlemen, Namaste and Kuchuzambo. At the very outset, I would like to convey the warm greetings from the Parliament of the Kingdom of Bhutan, and in particular from the Bhutanese delegates attending this August Hindu Kush Himalayan parliamentary meet here in the warm and holy city of Kathmandu. Thank you so much for your warm welcome and hospitality. Mr. President, the flight from Bhutan to Kathmandu is roughly 50 minutes. Whenever I get time to fly to Kathmandu, I always try to get a view of the majestic Mount Everest. It is not just the tallest mountain on the earth. It is a sacred abode of the Mother Goddess of the world. And every time I get to see the view of this tallest mountain, I also see some changes in the snow cover on the Everest. And this is one concerning sign of climate change. All the delegates who have gathered here will very much agree that over the years, our own people and ecosystem have experienced climatic change signs, such as changes in temperature, erratic pattern in snowfall and rainfall, rapid receding of our glaciers, drying up of our water sources, land degradation, and so forth. And we all know that this ultimately impacts people, plants, and animals, and invariably change their symbiotic relationship. No matter where we are all affected. The only difference is in terms of size and frequency. Mr. President, I would like to share that Bhutan is always committed to conserving environment and ensuring sustainable development. Our development philosophy of gross national happiness strives to ensure a fine balance between spiritual well-being and material prosperity. The Constitution of the Kingdom of Bhutan stipulates that a minimum of 60% of Bhutan's total land shall be maintained under forest cover for all time. Therefore, environment-friendly practices and policies are evident through protection of the natural environment, conservation of the rich biodiversity, and prevention of all forms of ecological degradation. Protecting Hindu Kush Himalayan requires more regional cooperation and innovative solutions. As for instance, from the former speakers, we understood that Hindu Kush Himalayan region, it is water source to nearly 2 billion people downstream whose livelihood depends on it. Therefore, this Hindu Kush Himalayan parliamentary meet on the theme sustaining nature, empowering people is highly appropriate and timely. The Bhutanese delegation would like to express our sincere gratitude and deep appreciation to the Agriculture, Cooperative and Natural Resources Committee of the Federal Parliament of Nepal, the Government of Nepal, and ISMOD for taking this noble collaborative effort to host this significant first ever Hindu Kush Himalayan parliamentary meet here in Kathmandu. We wish you all a meaningful engagement during the two-day conference, and we look forward to sharing experiences, ideas, and best practices, and alongside building collaboration, advancing our synergy towards the common cause, that is Mother Earth. Thank you, and Tashile. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Honorable Sir. From Myanmar, I'm honored to welcome Dr. Thong Nai Ngu, Director General of Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation, to give remarks on behalf of the government of Myanmar.
Right Honorable President of Nepal, Right Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives of Nepal, Honorable Chairperson, Agriculture, Cooperatives and Natural Resources Committee, Federal Parliament of Nepal, Excellency Ministers, Honorable Parliamentarians, Director General of ISMOD, distinguished delegates, participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. It is indeed my great honor and pleasure to be at the very important occasion of Hindu Kush Himalayan Parliamentarians Meet 2025. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation for the opportunity to contribute to this vital dialogue on the future of our shared mountain heritage. Myanmar recognized the Hindu Kush Himalayan HKH, also known as the Third Pole, as a critical global asset. Our northern mountainous regions are easternmost extension of this significant landscape, sharing its invaluable ecosystem and high biological diversity. In Myanmar's HKH influenced areas, we are witnessing the impacts of climate change, such as noticeable temperature increase affecting the delicate mountain ecosystems, altered the precipitation patterns, leading to the more frequent and intense rainfall, flash floods, and devastating landslide. These challenges pose significant disaster risks and profoundly affect the livelihoods of our people, especially the mountain communities. In order to effectively address these challenges, Myanmar has been trying its best by promulgating the legislative policy and frameworks that enable the robust climate action, biodiversity conservation, and environmental protection. National environmental policy, environmental conservation law, forest law, and conservation of biodiversity and protected area laws are the most significant legal instrument in the environmental sector of Myanmar. It is the nature-based solutions are the most appropriate approach to tackle the environmental issues. Accordingly, Myanmar has been implementing various action plans, such as Myanmar Climate Change Strategies and Action Plan, Myanmar Reforestation and Rehabilitation Program, Re-establishing Natural Habitats for Wildlife Program, Integrated Watershed and Coastal Area Management Program, and Tri-zone Regreening Program, etc. So these initiatives are designed to do more than simple tree planting, and we focused on the comprehensive restoration of the degraded forest landscape and ecosystems, revitalizing habitats of the wildlife, and mitigating the climate change. This holistic approach ensures the recovery of the biodiversity, which is essential for the long-term health and resilience of Myanmar's natural heritage. Myanmar is deeply committed for safeguarding the natural heritage, and we are continuously strengthening our protected area system and implementing species-specific conservation programs. Up to now, 1,328 reserved forests and protected public forests and 62 protected area systems have been constituted, covering 25.96% and 6.43% of the total country area, respectively. At present, Myanmar is updating national biodiversity strategies and action plan in accordance with the Montreal Global Biological Framework. So, crucially, we believe that the biodiversity conservation must go hand in hand with the human well-being. Empowering local communities through the community forestry programs and promoting sustainable livelihood is key to achieve our conservation efforts. Mr. President, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, transboundary haze pollution poses a significant environmental health and economic crisis in our region. Addressing this issue requires regional cooperation and tackling the root cause, such as unsustainable land use practices. So as you are aware, the Myanmar, as a member of the ASEAN, is obliged to cooperate under the ASEAN Agreement on Transboundary Haze Pollution, which is a legally binding agreement among ASEAN member states aimed at preventing and monitoring haze pollution from the land and or the forest fires. Furthermore, Myanmar has been implementing the joint plan of the ASEAN, so-called the Clear Sky Strategy 2024 to 2030, which is a trilateral consultation and collective commitment on transboundary haze pollution among Laos, Myanmar, and Thailand. These efforts pave the way for a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable future in our region. So our collective efforts in adopting the robust policy, securing adequate financing, and fostering greater regional cooperation is indispensable. So Myanmar has been one of the founding members of ICIMOD since its inception and has benefited greatly from these collaborations. We believe that regional organizations like ICIMOD should continue to enhance cooperation by providing much needed technical and financial assistance to the countries within the region. Myanmar, for its part, desires to receive even more robust cooperation and support in these critical areas. Myanmar stands ready to further strengthen our partnerships, share our experience and learn from US as we collectively strive to protect this invaluable region. The regional cooperation and strong political commitment are essential to address the transboundary nature of the threats to achieve the related national strategies and international commitments. Let us work together to ensure the Hindu Kush Himalaya remains a source of life and inspiration for future generations to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Tong. And from Pakistan, may I invite Honorable Munaza Hassan, Chairperson of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Climate Change, to deliver her remarks.
Mr. President. Honorable President Ramchandra Bodal, Excellencies, Honorable Speakers, distinguished parliamentarians, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, and good morning. We gather here in Kathmandu in the shadow of the great Hindu Kush Himalaya mountains that feed our rivers, shape our climate, and sustain nearly 2 billion lives. And yet, these mountains are bleeding ice. This is not the slow march of nature, it is an existential war being fought in real time against forces unleashed by human hands. For Pakistan, this war is not abstract. We are a frontline state of climate crisis. In 2022, floods drowned 1/3 of our land, displacing 33 million people, a population larger than many nations. In 2024, heat wave scorched our plains with record temperatures, while our northern valleys endured glacial lake outburst floods that swept away entire communities. In 2025, fresh gloves in Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral have once again destroyed villages and vital infrastructure, while the ongoing monsoon season is unleashing destructive floods across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, and Sindh, submerging farmland and displacing thousands. At the same time, climate-linked droughts are crippling agriculture in Sindh and Balochistan, while smog chokes our cities. We have learned a brutal truth. Climate change is no longer a challenge of tomorrow. It is the disaster of today. But Pakistan has chosen not to surrender. We have chosen to fight through law, through policy, through innovation. We amended our constitution, enshrining climate as a fundamental right of every citizen. The right to breathe clean air, to drink safe water, to inherit a livable planet. Few nations have written climate justice into their supreme law. Pakistan has. We have moved from words to warlike action. In 2025, our government introduced a carbon levy on polluting industries, sending a clear signal that polluters will pay and the people will no longer subsidize their own destruction. We have also accelerated the shift of electric mobility through the National EV Policy 2025-2030, setting a clear direction for clean transport. EV uptake is rising, supported by incentives and charging infrastructure. But for Pakistan, this is part of a broader transition, not the whole story. Renewable energy is no longer a slogan in Pakistan. It is a revolution in motion. In 2025, solar has risen to provide over 1/4 of our national electricity, placing Pakistan among the rare 25% solar club. With more than 17 gigawatts added in 2024 alone, and with the wind and hydropower scaling alongside, we have nearly doubled our renewable capacity just in 3 years, putting clean energy at the very front lines of our national security and economic future. Our citizens and businesses have taken the lead, propelling net-metered solar capacity past 5.3 gigawatt by April 2025, a testament to unprecedented grassroots clean energy adoption. We are restoring nature with ambition. The 10 billion tree has regenerated vast landscapes and new protected areas, are conserving biodiversity under threat. And we are building resilience. Pakistan was instrumental in creating the Global Loss and Damage Fund from leading its negotiations at COP27 to shaping its operationalization at COP28. We are financing communities to rebuild stronger after climate shocks. Excellencies, our message is clear. Pakistan is not just a victim, it is a laboratory of solutions. We are a case study of how a vulnerable country with limited resources can act with courage and conviction. But no country, however determined, can win this war alone. The Hindu Kush Himalaya is a single ecosystem shared by Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Our rivers do not stop at borders. Our glaciers do not ask for visas. Our air does not recognize sovereignty. We rise or fall together. The parliamentarian meet is more than a dialogue. It is the call to arms of our generation. We must forge a regional pact of climate solidarity, to legislate together, to innovate together, to speak with one voice in global negotiations. The world must know the mountains that unite us are not only our shared heritage, they are our shared line of defense. History will not forgive hesitation. The farmer in Chitral, the herder in Bhutan, the fisher in Bangladesh, the child in Kathmandu, the mother in Delhi struggling through smog, and the communities along the Yangtze headwater, they are all waiting not for promises but for protection. Pakistan comes to Kathmandu with determination to share lessons, to learn, and to lead where leadership is required. Let us prove together we can sustain nature and by doing so empower our people. I would like to thank Ministry of Forest and Environment and ICMOD for inviting us to Kathmandu on such an important subject. And I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ma'am, and thank you to all the distinguished heads of delegations for your valuable insights. It is now my honor to invite Honorable Mr. Ain Bahadur Shahi Thakuri, Minister of Forest and Environment, Government of Nepal, to share his remarks.
Hindu Kush Himalaya parliamentarians meet उद्घाटन सत्रका माननीय सभापतिज्यू, सम्माननीय राष्ट्रपतिज्यू, माननीय परराष्ट्र मन्त्रीज्यू, हिन्दू कुश हिमालय क्षेत्रका देशबाट पाल्नुभएका यहाँ उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण माननीय सदस्यज्यूहरू, नेपाल सरकारका तर्फबाट पाल्नुभएका विशिष्ट पदाधिकारीज्यूहरू, महामहिम राजदूतजीहरू तथा विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, पत्रकार मित्रहरू, महिला तथा सज्जनवृन्द, सर्वप्रथम हार्दिक नमस्कार, गुड मर्निङ। नेपाल सरकार वन तथा वातावरण मन्त्रालयका तर्फबाट यस ऐतिहासिक हिन्दुकुश हिमालय पार्लियामेन्ट्रियन्स मिटमा सहभागी सबैलाई हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। यो पहिलो र ऐतिहासिक सम्मेलन हाम्रो साझा पर्वतीय क्षेत्र र त्यससँग जोडिएका अरबौं जनताहरूको भविष्यको बारेमा छलफल, संकल्प, साझेदारी र ऐक्यबद्धता प्रकट गर्ने अवसर हो भन्ने मैले ठानेको छु। संसदीय परम्परामा नीति निर्माण गर्ने र सार्वभौम तल्लो संसदका मान्य सदस्यज्यूहरू र विज्ञहरूको यस सम्मेलनले हाम्रा साझा भविष्यको लागि सफल नीतिहरूको निर्माण र कार्यान्वयनमा सहयोग पुग्ने मैले अपेक्षा लिएको छु। नेपालको हिमाली क्षेत्र मुगु जिल्लाबाट निर्वाचित जनप्रतिनिधिको हैसियतले नेपाल सरकारको सङ्घीय वन तथा वातावरण मन्त्रालयको जिम्मेवारी सम्हाल्दै गर्दा वन तथा वातावरण क्षेत्रमा देखिएका विभिन्न चुनौतीहरूलाई सफलताका सम्पन्न गर्ने मेरो गहन जिम्मेवारी रहिआएको छ र यसमा मेरो जीवन र राजनीतिक यात्रामा जलवायु सङ्कटको नकारात्मक प्रभाव व्याप्त रहेको र जनताको पीडाहरू नजिकबाट हामीले देखिरहेका छौँ। मेरो बाल्यकाल पनि म अत्यन्तै पर्वतीय भूगोलको कठिन काखमा बितेको थियो र जहाँ समय सँगसँगै त्यस क्षेत्रका जीवनका आधार स्तम्भहरू, पानीका स्रोतहरू सुक्दै गएका छन्, हुँदै गएको र वर्षेनी चरण क्षेत्रहरू मासिँदै र नासिँदै गएको यथार्थहरू छन्। हामीले आफैले त्यो देखिरहेका छौँ र अनुभव गरिरहेका छौँ। हाम्रो सबैभन्दा ठुलो तालधारा जस्तो प्राकृतिक सम्पदा पनि अहिले जलवायु परिवर्तनको असरबाट पीडामा परेको छ। यो तथ्य मात्र होइन, यो आफैले देखेको र भोगेको कटु सत्य पनि हो। यस वर्ष मात्रै नेपालले जलवायु परिवर्तनका दुःखद अनुभवहरू हामीले बेहोर्नु पर्यो। हालै रसुवा जिल्लामा ठुलो बाहिरी पहिरोबाट धेरैजनाले करिब 20 जनाभन्दा बढीले आफ्नो दुःखद ज्यान गुमाउनु भएको र अरबौं धन सम्पत्तिहरू नोक्सानीमा परेको अवस्था छ। यसैगरी यसै वर्ष नेपालको तराई मधेस क्षेत्रमा लामो समय वर्षा नहुँदा खानेपानीको समस्याका सँगसँगै किसानहरूले खेत रोप्न पनि पाइएको अवस्था रहेन। समयमा किसानले खेत रोप्न नपाउँदा आउँदा दिनमा खाद्य सुरक्षामा समस्या आउने अवस्था सिर्जना भएको छ। सम्माननीय राष्ट्रपतिज्यू, मान्यज्यूहरू, नेपाल जैव विविधताको क्षेत्रमा ठुलो लगानी भएको छ। हामीले करिब 46% भूभाग वनले ढाकेको छ र यसको संरक्षण भइरहेको छ। सामुदायिक वन व्यवस्थापनमा विश्वकै उदाहरणहरू हामीले प्रस्तुत गरेका छौँ, तर न्यून कार्बन उत्सर्जन गर्दा गर्दै पनि हामीले जलवायु परिवर्तनको गहिरो असर भोग्नु परेको छ। यी समस्याहरूका बावजुद नेपालले कार्बन उत्सर्जन न्यूनीकरण र अनुकूलन क्षेत्रमा आफ्नो तर्फबाट सक्दो प्रयास गरिरहेको छ। नवीकरण ऊर्जा उत्पादनमा प्रगति, विद्युतीय सवारीको प्रवर्धन, स्थानीय अनुकूल योजनाको कार्यान्वयन, नदी तथा हिमतालहरूमा पूर्व सूचना प्रणालीको स्थापना र वायु प्रदूषण नियन्त्रणका लागि यूरो 6 मापदण्डको लागू जस्ता उदाहरणहरू यसमा हाम्रा प्रमाणहरू छन्। साथै हामीले हालै सगरमाथा संवादको सफल आयोजनाका साथै त्यसै अवसरमा प्रस्तुत गरेको तेस्रो राष्ट्रिय निर्धारित योगदान NDC-मा पनि ऊर्जा, उद्योग, यातायात लगायतका क्षेत्रमा आगामी 10 वर्षका लागि जलवायु न्यूनीकरण, अनुकूलन र क्षति नोक्सानी व्यवस्थापनका लक्ष्यहरू समावेश गरिएका छन्। हिन्दुकुश हिमालय क्षेत्रका करिब 2 अर्ब जनताको पानी, खाद्य र ऊर्जा सुरक्षाको आधार पनि हो। तर यो जीवन आधार अहिले जलवायु परिवर्तन, जैव विविधता ह्रास र वायु प्रदूषणको गम्भीर चुनौती हामीले यो भोगिरहेका छौँ। यस क्षेत्रमा तापक्रम वृद्धि विश्व औसतभन्दा बढी छ। विश्व तापमान वृद्धिलाई 1.5 डिग्री सेल्सियसमा सीमित गरे तापनि हिन्दुकुश हिमालयमा यो वृद्धि 2 डिग्रीभन्दा बढी हुने अनुमान गरिएको छ, जसले हिमनदीहरू पग्लिने दर बढाउने, बाढी पहिरो, सुक्खा र हिमताल विस्फोटको जोखिमहरू बढाइरहेको छ। वायु प्रदूषणले मानव स्वास्थ्य, कृषि, पर्यटन सबैलाई प्रभावित गरिरहेको छ। विशेष गरी महिला, बालबालिका र विपन्न समुदाय सबैभन्दा बढी पीडित छन्। हिमालमा हिउँ पग्लिरहँदा तल्लो तटीय क्षेत्रका भूभागहरू डुबानमा पर्ने, समुद्रको सतह बढ्ने र टापु राष्ट्रहरूको औचित्य नै खतरामा पर्ने अवस्था छ। त्यसैले पेरिस सम्झौता अनुसार 1.5 डिग्री सेल्सियस लक्ष्य कायम राख्न, जलवायु वित्तमा समान र सहज पहुँच सुनिश्चित गर्न, अनुकूलनमा सहयोग विस्तार गर्न र क्षति नोक्सानी सम्बोधनमा ठोस कदम चाल्न अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय र क्षेत्रीय स्तरको सहकार्य र ऐक्यबद्धता अति आवश्यक छ। सम्माननीय राष्ट्रपतिज्यू, मान्य सदस्यज्यूहरू, मेरो आफ्नै अनुभवमा संसद मार्फत जलवायु नीति निर्माण र जैविक विविधता र प्रदूषण नियन्त्रणका लागि कानुनी संरचना सुदृढ बनाउन र सरकारका कार्यक्रमहरूको अनुगमन तथा पारदर्शिता सुनिश्चित गर्न मान्यज्यूहरूको भूमिका अत्यन्तै महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ। यी साझा चुनौतीहरू सामना गर्नका लागि क्षेत्रीय सहकार्य अपरिहार्य छ। पहिलो पटक आयोजना भएको यस ऐतिहासिक सम्मेलनको आयोजना गर्न पहल लिनुभएकोमा सङ्घीय संसद अन्तर्गतको कृषि, सहकारी तथा प्राकृतिक स्रोत समितिप्रति हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिँदै कृतज्ञता व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। जलवायु सङ्कटको सम्बोधन, जैविक विविधता संरक्षण, स्वच्छ वायु जस्ता विषयहरू वन तथा वातावरण मन्त्रालयको मुख्य कार्यक्षेत्र भएको हुनाले यस सम्मेलनबाट प्राप्त हुने निष्कर्षहरूलाई प्रभावकारी रूपमा कार्यान्वयन गर्ने म पूर्ण प्रतिबद्धता व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। अन्तमा यस सम्मेलनमा सहभागी हुनुहुने सम्पूर्ण सहभागीहरूको काठमाडौँ बसाई सुखमय होस् भन्ने कामनाका साथ यस सम्मेलनले क्षेत्रीय सहकार्यलाई सुदृढ गर्दै सहयोग, साझेदारी र साझा ऐक्यबद्धतामा नयाँ ऊर्जा भर्नेछ भन्ने मैले शुभेच्छा दिँदै यो सम्मेलनको पूर्ण सफलताको शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दै बिदा हुन चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Honorable Minister. It is now my privilege to invite Honorable Dr. Arzu Rana Deuba, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Government of Nepal, to deliver her remarks.
Good morning, Right Honorable President Mr. Ramchandra Paudel, Right Honorable Speaker of the House of the Representatives of Nepal, Chair of this session, Honorable Kusum Thapaji, who is the Chair of the Nepal's Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Cooperatives and the Environment. First of all, congratulations to the committee. I'm also a member of this committee. I still want to go back to be a member of this committee when I'm not minister anymore, so this is just a brief interlude. Really, I'm so happy to be here to participate in this excellent conference that is being hosted by the committee and by the Parliament of Nepal. Thank you so much, Isimod, and all the supporters of this program. Good morning and namaskar to everybody. It is both an honor and pleasure to be part of the Hindu Kush Himalayan Parliamentarians Meet 2025. On behalf of the Government of Nepal, I extend my heartfelt welcome and warm greetings to all of you. I'm glad to see so many parliamentarians from across the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, alongside distinguished colleagues and friends from around the world. Your presence here not only enriches this gathering, but also gives us great encouragement as we come together in the heart of the Himalayas to deliberate on issues of common concern and enduring importance for our region and our future. This is a parliamentarians meet and that carries special meaning. As representatives of the people, we are entrusted with more than just the task of lawmaking. We are custodians of their aspirations and guardians of the future. Having served in Parliament before assuming my current responsibility as Foreign Minister, I deeply value the significance and responsibility that comes with being a parliamentarian. The challenges before us, climate change, biodiversity loss, and the need for clean air demand more than just government action alone. They require our leadership, our voices, our resolve, and our action. As parliamentarians, we are uniquely placed to bring these pressing issues to the center of national agendas, to shape legislation, allocate resources, and support, as well as hold our governments accountable. We gather at a time when the climate crisis is no longer a distant forecast, but a lived and daily reality. The 2025 World Meteorological Organization report featuring Nepal's Annapurna region shows that global temperatures have reached 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold for the first time in a calendar year. While the Paris Agreement's long-term 1.5 degrees Celsius target is not officially exceeded, it remains under serious threat. Staying on this pathway requires rapid emission reduction, lowering long-term costs, and achieving SDGs. Similarly, the recent advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice reaffirms that states have a legal duty to protect the climate, reduce emissions, adapt to impacts, and prevent transboundary harm, shifting climate change from a moral or political issue to a binding legal, ethical, and political obligation. Nowhere is this urgently felt more deeply than in this Hindu Kush Himalayan region. In recent weeks, massive floods in India, Pakistan, and Nepal have taken many lives and damaged many livelihoods, destroyed homes and infrastructure, and left many still missing. We feel it deeply in the grief of mourning families, the displacement of communities, and the loss of livelihoods. For Nepal, these challenges have been our daily realities. Our fragile mountain ecosystems are warming twice as fast as the global average. We are among the world's most climate vulnerable countries, facing earthquakes, glacial retreat, erratic monsoons, biodiversity loss, and frequent floods and landslides. Yet, Nepal's carbon footprint remains negligible. And enduring climate justice, as those who have contributed least bear the greatest burdens. Nevertheless, Nepal has chosen to act with determination. We have committed to becoming a net zero economy by 2045 under our long-term strategy. We have thrice submitted ambitious nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement, and we pursue a robust national climate change policy aimed at resilience building. Yet domestic resources alone will not suffice. Climate finance, technology transfer, and capacity building are critical for meaningful progress. In this context, I recall with pride the first edition of the Sagarmatha Samvad held in May in 2025 in Kathmandu, where leaders, thinkers, and policy makers from around the world gathered in this very place, giving birth to the Sagarmatha Call for Action, which is a 25-point roadmap for urgent climate action. We believe, and we continue to believe, that the highest point on earth must serve as a moral high ground for environmental justice. Our role as parliamentarians thus has never been more vital. Climate change respects no borders, no flags, no political divisions, as all the speakers before me have also stated. That is why we must come together, sharing experiences, learning from one another, and forging solutions that are bold, inclusive, and impactful. Let this meet be more than a platform for speeches. Let us Let it be a space for listening, for unity, for building trust, and for raising our voice on a global level. Let's translate the ideas and commitments born here into laws, into policies, into community action, and into the lives of those who look to us for leadership. In closing, let this meet inspire us to act together, to honor our duty to future generations, and to leave behind a legacy of hope, resilience, and harmony with nature in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region and beyond. Thank you, and I wish you all a successful meet. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. It is now my distinct honor to invite our chief guest, the Right Honorable Mr. Ramchandra Paudel, President of Nepal, to deliver his inaugural address to officially mark the opening of the Hindu Kush Himalaya Parliamentarians Meet 2025.
कार्यक्रमको अध्यक्षता गरिरहनुभएका माननीय सभापतिज्यू, हिन्दू कुश हिमालय क्षेत्रका देशहरूबाट पाल्नुभएका माननीय सांसदज्यूहरू, सरकारका तर्फबाट पाल्नुभएका उच्च प्रतिनिधि महामहिमज्यूहरू तथा विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, भद्रपलादमी तथा सज्जन वृन्द, भद्र महिला तथा सज्जन वृन्द, सर्वप्रथम पहिलो पटक आयोजना भएको यस हिन्दू कुश हिमालय पार्लियामेन्टेरियन मिटमा उपस्थित हुन पाउँदा म हर्षित छु। यो ऐतिहासिक भेटघाट हाम्रो साझा र दिगो भविष्यका लागि आशा र सम्भावनाको मार्ग बनोस् भन्ने हार्दिक शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दछु र हिमालदेखि समुद्री तटसम्मका बासिन्दाहरूको भविष्य एउटै नियतिमा गाँसिएको कुरा यहाँ म सबैलाई सम्झाउन चाहन्छु। आज माननीय ज्यूहरूको बीचमा उभिँदा म आफ्नो राजनीतिक यात्राका क्षणहरू सम्झिरहेको छु। 2048 सालमा पहिलो पटक सांसदको रूपमा निर्वाचित हुँदा त्यो केवल व्यक्तिगत सफलता मात्र थिएन, त्यो मेरो जीवनमा जिम्मेवारीको नयाँ अध्यायको सुरुवात थियो। केही वर्षपछि 51 देखि 55 सालसम्म प्रतिनिधि सभाको सभामुखको हैसियतमा मैले संसद समितिहरूको बैठकहरू, अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय मञ्चहरूमा निरन्तर छलफल र बहसको संस्कारलाई जीवन्त राख्ने अवसर पाएँ। विगतमा पनि हामी प्राकृतिक स्रोत संरक्षण, अन्तर्देशीय सहकार्य र दिगो विकासबारे छलफल गर्थ्यौँ र त्यस बेलाका चुनौती र आजका सङ्कटबीच ठूलो अन्तर छ। पहिले यी विषयलाई दीर्घकालीन लक्ष्यका रूपमा हेरिन्थ्यो, तर आज ती चुनौतीहरूले तत्कालै कदम चाल्न पर्ने दबाब दिइरहेका छन्। हामी सबै सङ्कटापन्न अवस्थामा छौँ, यसलाई सबैले मिलेर पार गर्नु छ। जलवायु परिवर्तन, जैविक विविधताको ह्रास र वायु प्रदूषण अब केवल वैज्ञानिक प्रतिवेदनमा सीमित नभई हाम्रो दैनिक जीवनको कठोर यथार्थ बनेका छन्। त्यसैले आजको यो बैठक हाम्रो साझा र दिगो भविष्यको रोडम्याप तय गर्ने ऐतिहासिक अवसर हो। यो हिन्दू कुश हिमालय क्षेत्रको भूगोल, हिमालय क्षेत्र, वन, नदी र वायुमण्डलको भविष्यबारे दृढ सङ्कल्प जनाउने अवसर हो। जलवायु परिवर्तनले पारेको नकारात्मक प्रभावको बारेमा मैले विश्व मञ्चहरूमा विश्व समुदायलाई ध्यानाकर्षण गर्दै आएको छु। विश्वव्यापी तापमान वृद्धिलाई 1.5 डिग्री सेल्सियससम्म सीमित गर्न पेरिस सम्झौतामा गरिएको प्रतिबद्धता पूरा गर्न सम्बन्धित पक्षहरूले आफ्नो ठाउँबाट योगदान पुर्याउनु आजको आवश्यकता हो। माननीय संसद सदस्यज्यूहरू, हाम्रा यस क्षेत्रको हिमालबाट बग्ने नदीको पानी, वनबाट प्राप्त हुने अक्सिजन वा कृषियोग्य भूमिको उर्वरताले यहाँका 2 अरबभन्दा बढी मानिसका लागि प्रत्यक्ष वा अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा जीवनयापनमा योगदान पुर्याएको छ। तर यो जीवनयापनको आधार आज सङ्कटमा छ। विश्वव्यापी तापमान वृद्धि 1.5 डिग्री सेल्सियसको हाराहारीमा पुगिरहँदा हाम्रो हिमालय क्षेत्रमा औसतभन्दा धेरै वृद्धि भएको छ। वैज्ञानिक तथ्यहरूका अनुसार पेरिस सम्झौतामा हामी सबैले जनाएको प्रतिबद्धता अनुसार दीर्घकालीन रूपमा 1.5 डिग्री सेल्सियसको लक्ष्यमा सीमित गर्न सकिन्छ कि भनिए तापनि पछिल्ला दशकहरूमा यहाँका हिमनदीहरूको पग्लिने गति बढिरहेको सन्दर्भमा यसको असर तल्लो तटीय क्षेत्रमा रहेका गाउँ बस्तीदेखि हजारौं किलोमिटर टाढासम्म पुग्दा बाढी, पहिरो जस्तो जलवायुजन्य विपदको रूप लिइरहेको अवस्था छ। हाम्रो क्षेत्र जैविक विविधताका दृष्टिले धनी छ। विश्वका दुर्लभ वनस्पति र जनावरहरूको वासस्थान यहाँ छ। जैविक विविधतामा आएको ह्रासले हाम्रो खाद्य सुरक्षा, सांस्कृतिक सम्पदा, प्रजातिहरू लोप हुन सक्ने सम्भावनाका साथै समग्र अर्थतन्त्रमा पनि असर गरिरहेको छ। यी चुनौतीहरूका बावजुद म यो अवसरमा सदस्य राष्ट्रहरूले जलवायु परिवर्तनको समस्या सम्बोधन, वायु प्रदूषण नियन्त्रण तथा जैविक विविधता संरक्षणका लागि गरेका उल्लेखनीय कार्यहरूको प्रशंसा पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। विविध समस्याका बावजुद विश्वका लागि उदाहरणीय हुने कार्य यस क्षेत्रमा भएका छन्। जलविद्युत उत्पादन र प्रयोगका लागि सहकार्य, सौर्य ऊर्जा प्रवर्धन, वन संरक्षणमा समानुपातिक सहभागिता, जलवायुजन्य विपदको पूर्व सूचना प्रणाली विकास लगायत जलवायु अनुकूलन र न्यूनीकरणमा क्षेत्रीय सहकार्यका थुप्रै त्यस्ता पहलहरू यस क्षेत्रमा भएका छन्। जैविक विविधता संरक्षणका लागि राष्ट्रिय निकुञ्ज र संरक्षित क्षेत्र विस्तार, वन्यजन्तु निगरानी प्रणालीको आधुनिकीकरण र स्थानीय समुदायसँगको सहकार्य प्रशंसनीय छ। वायु गुणस्तर सुधारका लागि सार्वजनिक यातायात क्षेत्रमा सुधार, विद्युतीय सवारी साधन प्रवर्धन र उद्योगहरूको उत्सर्जन नियन्त्रण जस्ता कदमहरू सन्तोषजनक छन्। मान्यज्यूहरू, नीति निर्माण तहमा हामीले वैज्ञानिक तथ्य र जनआवाजलाई आधार मानेर जलवायु, जैविक विविधता र वायु प्रदूषण सम्बन्धी समय सापेक्ष, जनमुखी र कार्यान्वयन योग्य नीति तर्जुमा गर्नुपर्छ। त्यस्तै कानुनी संरचना सुदृढीकरणका लागि जलवायु मैत्री विकास, वायु प्रदूषण नियन्त्रणका लागि मापदण्डहरू तयार गर्ने र जैविक विविधताको संरक्षणका लागि आवश्यक कानुनी प्रावधानको प्रबन्ध गर्न आवश्यक छ। जवाफदेहिताको सुनिश्चितताका लागि हाम्रा कार्यक्रमहरू कार्यान्वयन भए नभएको अनुगमन, स्रोतहरूको पारदर्शिता र परिणामको मूल्याङ्कन सांसदले मूलभूत दायित्व निर्वाह गर्नुपर्छ। मान्यज्यूहरू, आज र भोलि 2 दिनसम्म हुने अन्तर्क्रिया विचार विमर्शपछि तपाईहरूले केही साझा सङ्कल्पना गर्नुहुनेछ भन्ने मैले विश्वास लिएको छु। साथै यस प्रकारको संसदीय संवादलाई नियमित र संस्थागत बनाउँदै यसलाई दीर्घकालीन सहकार्यको आधारका रूपमा विकास गर्न अपेक्षासहित मान्यज्यूहरूलाई पुनः शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दछु। अन्त्यमा हाम्रो साझा प्रयासले हिन्दकुश हिमालय क्षेत्रलाई जलवायु सहिष्णु, जैविक विविधतामा समृद्ध र स्वच्छ हावायुक्त बनाउने दिशामा ठोस कदम अघि बढोस् भन्ने शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दै महत्त्वपूर्ण यो कार्यक्रम आयोजना गरेकोमा सङ्घीय संसद तथा कृषि सहकारी तथा प्राकृतिक स्रोत समितिलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। जय नेपाल।
Thank you, Right Honorable President of Nepal, for gracing us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our opening session. We appreciate the support provided by the United Kingdom International Development through its Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and Swiss Development and Cooperation. Thank you to honorable ministers, members of parliament, distinguished delegates, excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen. We will now take a short refreshment break and reconvene at 11:30 a.m. for the first technical session on climate change impacts in the Hindu Kush Himalaya region. We kindly request all the members of the media to go to Marwa Hall for the media briefing. Thank you for your time. Tea is served right outside the hall. Hindu Kush Himalaya is home to some of the world's most majestic landscapes, ecosystems, and cultural heritage.